Our club mission is to add value to every members, help them grow personally and professionally. We proud ourselves in our club to give the best evaluations. We spend 15 minutes on each person whenever they are giving a speech. So come and join us in our first meeting of every Thursday and enjoy how our meeting is. I will introduce each one of you at the end of the meeting. I'll take your feedback. I'll now give it to our Toastmaster, who is Judy Stein. Judy, it's all you.
Hello, everyone. It's so lovely to see so many guests here tonight. It is a very special night. And let me tell you why, because Abhijeet Joshi will be leading it, talking about members, growing members. I don't even know the title of the meeting. Before I introduce him, I do want to say, everyone, ask a lot of questions. Abhijeet just doesn't want to be chatting at us. So ask questions. It's great material to do this with, a great topic. Abhijeet Joshi has been a Toastmaster for 3.5 years. During the pandemic, he played a key role in chartering 6 clubs from concept to reality. Wow. Abhijeet learned the art of attracting members through being a member of numerous clubs, an area director and club growth director. Currently, he is serving as program quality director. Let's give a warm welcome to Abhijeet Joshi.
Today, I'm going to share what I have learned in the last 3.5 years. As Judy said, this is going to be an interactive session, so ask me any questions at any moment of time. I'm also going to give you a handout at the end of the day, and if you need anything else, please let me know. Let's get it started. Let me share my screen with you. So, secrets to membership building. Here is the agenda for today. First, we are going to talk about why. Why do we need to do membership building? And we are going to talk about 2 different aspects of membership building. One is membership building, and also we are going to touch upon membership retention because they both go hand in hand. Next thing we'll talk about, what is the reality? What happens in a club during the renewal season? And then we'll go through the 6 different secrets. My first question to you is, why we need to worry about membership building? Judy? Yes, Judy, you.
Why? Because we want healthy clubs, we want everyone's creativity and innovation, and we want people to be able to become better speakers and better evaluators and be comfortable in their own skins expressing themselves. So we need members for that, and members supporting members.
Very, very true. Thank you, Judy. Thank you. Helen, any other perspective? Why do we need to do membership building?
Well, I've heard this phrase that we lose 20% of our members every year. I don't know if you had mentioned that earlier. So therefore, we need to have a ready supply of new members to take over for those that are retiring or leaving the area or for other reasons need to leave the club. So that's important.
Very, very true. Thank you, Helen. That is a really good point you made. What are the benefits of membership building? Anyone? Lindy?
By having a steady flow of new members, you keep a club energized, because you think about when someone gives their icebreaker, how everyone gets excited. As you have new members come in, there's a mix of new learning and relearning, and it makes the club very rich.
Very, very true. It energizes us. Sometimes we have the same energy. Then we don't feel like going to the club. But when we have some new people coming up, it creates that enthusiasm and that energy. That energy is palpable. It's like we want to be a part of it. So that's why the new energy is important. When we attract new members, they bring in that new energy. Second thing, it's also a growth opportunity. How do you think? Why do you think it's a growth opportunity? Anyone? Fred, why do you think it's a growth opportunity when we have new members in our clubs?
I was actually just about to type it in the chat, but it's a way to help your club grow both exponentially and energetically.
Very, very true. So what happens is when some new member comes in, it's a growth opportunity for other members. Like suppose Adarsh joins this club. I get a chance to mentor him. When we mentor someone, the mentee also grows and we also grow. So that's why it is a growth opportunity for us. It also prevents burnout. What happens? Like I was a club coach 2 years ago for a Cisco Speaks. When I joined that club, they only had 5 members, and the same 5 members had to take the roles. You never have a freedom to just sit and listen. So if you have more members coming in, it prevents that burnout. And finally, attrition. As Helen said, we always have some attrition happening at the end of the Toastmasters renewal season. So when we have new members coming in, that helps to control that attrition. We can slow down. I'll talk more about it. Now let's go through the reality. What happens? The reality is that it's harder to bring in new members. Why is it harder? In the olden ways, like we used to just have an open house, invite a bunch of people, and we used to get members. But currently, the old ways does not work. It is harder to get new members. Another reason is, as I said before, old ways don't work. We have to come up with some new ways to make things happen. What is other part of reality? Any other feedback from the guests? You can raise your hands because I cannot see the guest. So if you have anything to add, please raise your hand so that I can call upon you. So the first thing, it's harder to get new members. And second thing is the older ways don't work. What we can do is we need to replenish those members. So we need to come up with a plan. Not only that, we also need to slow down the attrition. How do we slow down the attrition? We'll talk about all these things in the next 6 secrets. So let's get it started. The secret number 1 is innovative content. What kind of innovative content you can have in your meeting that creates value for the members? Anyone? What kind of innovative content we can have in our meetings that create value for our members? Emmy? You're muted, Emmy.
Okay, anything that's fun. So if you
Yes.
can come up with a way, like we did a meeting in my home club where we did rants and raves
Yes.
and brought in a bunch of people because it was fun.
Yes.
It was really a lot of fun. So I think that really does help.
Very, very true. When you have some kind of fun things, it creates, when there is laughter, you want to be a part of that laughter and you want to go there. So that is another way. If you have innovative content, like rant and raves, when we had in our club, we attracted a lot of people. So that is one way. Any other ways, anyone? I'm going to share a few ways with you. The first thing is panel discussion. This March, we got an idea in one of my clubs, like we should have a panel discussion. It was the Women's International Day, and we decided to have 3 different women panelists. Our panel discussion topic was women in leadership. So we had this panel discussion. We had Pat Johnson and we have 2 other vice presidents from NVIDIA. We were creating content for our members. And when we publicized this event, we had around 45 guests coming to our club. They just wanted to hear what this woman had to say. And in that way, it gave us a chance to publicize our club or promote our club. So this is one way of doing it, having that innovative content which creates value for your members. What are other ways? I talked about panel discussion. The next I want to talk about table topics. In this club, we had a fun session. It was the greatest show on Zoom. We had 4 different kinds of table topics. Amy, do you remember which 4 different kinds of table topics we had that created a lot of fun and laughter? The one, the first one was storytelling relay. We had 4 people going at the same time. The first person we'll give them the first line of the story, and they had to start the story and go for 45 seconds. Once they are done, the next person in the relay had to go. So it was a fun thing to do. It created a lot of laughter. Another type of table topics was the humor challenge. We gave them a humorous situation. Like you get up in the morning with no hair, and they had to complete that 1 to 2 minute table topics in a humorous way. In a similar way, we also had tall tales. We gave them a situation like you wake up in the morning on the surface of the Mars, and they have to complete that tall tale. So these were the different types of table topics. And the last one was the verbal gymnastics. We gave them a made-up word like kakamora, and they had to use it in their table topics in such a way that they need to tell a story as well as explain the meaning of the word. So if you do certain kinds of events like this, where it's different from what you usually do, it creates a lot of enthusiasm, energy, and innovative content because it gives us a chance to try different muscles. Another way of innovative content is like guest speakers. Sometimes we have a chance to learn from the guest speakers. Like in my corporate club, what we do is we host a guest speaker on Friday afternoons. Usually our club meets on Thursday, but Friday afternoons is a time when we can invite members from the company. Last week, we had a session on lead with your heart. We had around 45 guests who showed up. So when we are creating content that is interesting to the people, people are going to show up. So in that way, we get a chance to promote our club. And today, when we had the meeting, we had 5 guests who come in from the last week who had attended that session. So these are the different ways we can do to create value for our members and also create interest. What are other ways?
I mean,
Yes.
Joy has put a couple things in the chat. Joy, do you
Yes.
want to go ahead and say out loud, or
Yeah.
would you like me to?
Oh, okay. One of the things I asked was how you can reach the HR people in small to mid-sized businesses that are not large enough to have a club on their own. And then the other thing with this list that you're talking about now, we had a meeting where someone used props as the table topic. So they just had a box, and they actually handed me my prop instead of letting me just reach in and get something. And it was one of those fake pieces of manure, which gave me a wonderful opportunity to talk about keeping things out of the landfill and the value of manure.
Joy, that's a good question. Let me answer your first question. How do you reach people in your club? My question to you is, what kind of messaging service do you have in your company? Do you have Slack? Do you have Teams?
No, we're not a company club. We're a public club. But I realize that all around us, we have companies that are not large enough to have a club.
Yes.
So, and we meet at 7 in the morning, so it's perfect for someone who has a job in the area. And how to reach those HR people in those companies is something that that interests me. I'm working on it now. I'm trying to figure out how, without going to a single company right one after the other with the hundreds of companies that are around, we might reach a lot of HR people.
One way of doing it is using LinkedIn to your advantage. Okay. Suppose if you're like, if I'm doing an event and I want to get people around different companies around where I'm located, I use LinkedIn where I can promote that event. Same thing I did when I had the panel discussion. Like I put it on my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn has a lot of members, like around 1,000. So if you put anything on your LinkedIn, that is one way. Another thing is if you want to make a list of, like, suppose 10 companies around you, what I would do is I'll connect with the HR person, because in LinkedIn, you can connect with the HR people of different companies and tell them, okay, we are having this club where we help professionals to build their communication and leadership skills. If anyone is interested, please pass our information to them. So that is another way, using LinkedIn to your advantage, and by doing a direct communication, that is helpful. And another way, I will talk more about different ways of connecting with people in the how to do PR for your club. So I will address more questions from that. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Another thing which we do in our club is have a round robin feedback. We have 4 evaluations: manual, content, vocal, and visual. After this 4 evaluations, they last at least for 2 to 3 minutes, and then we have a round robin. When you have a round robin, what happens is every member is engaged. They have to listen what the speaker is saying, and then they give feedback. So I encourage clubs sometimes to change things up and have a round robin feedback, because the engagement increases when you have more than one evaluator. So that is another way to adding value to our members, because when you are having a round robin, what happens is you get different feedback, different perspective from people about your speech. When we are having round robin feedback, we encourage members not to repeat the same feedback if someone else has given, so that whenever a evaluator is speaking, they are adding value to the members. And finally, I want to talk about is lightning slides. One of my clubs starts their meetings with the lightning slides. What is lightning slides? Lightning slides is just a slide deck of 10 to 12 slides, and there is an image on each slide. When we start the meeting, you will see the timer and your name there. You only have 30 seconds to speak on that slide. Once you speak, it goes to the next person. So that's what when we start our meetings with that, it kind of builds up the energy, gets the energy started, because our club meets at 7 o'clock. Sometimes we need to wake people up. So that's the way we do it. That helps the club a lot. And if you need, I'll send you a template of the lightning slides, which we use in our club. Any questions so far before I move forward? Anything in the chat, Lindy?
I think we've got those covered.
Okay, perfect.
Oh,
Amy
Amy has her hand raised.
Yes, Amy.
Yeah. I was just going to mention that you were talking about getting more evaluations. We've also started bringing in a guest general evaluator on occasion, because it gives you a different perspective of what your club's doing and some ideas about what you might do better as a club. So.
Definitely. When you have a different perspective, it really helps to learn from the other person's perspective. It adds value to our members. Let's move on. Innovative PR. We are in a hybrid stage. We are neither in person, we are sometimes mostly digital right now. So how do we do the PR? So the PR has changed completely. And today I'm going to share some innovative ways of doing PR. So ask me any questions if you have had. The first one I'll go for is YouTube. This is one of my clubs. What they do is they record each and every meeting. Once they record it, they put it on YouTube and share that recording with all the members and their guests. So what they are doing it is they are promoting their club through the YouTube link. And when we send out the link, people watch our videos and we can see how many views we had. In a way, it helps us promoting our club because our club creates good content. It helps many more people. So that is another way you can create content and help people. And it indirectly helps to do PR for your club. The next one is social media. What kind of social media do you guys use in your clubs? Anyone? Claudia?
Hello, Abhijeet. This is
Yes.
Adarsh from India.
Adarsh? Yes.
In our club, we use Instagram.
Okay. That's very good.
Usual Facebook thing.
Okay, that's very good. Instagram is something which I'm learning. You know, sometimes you can take advantage of that if you can create some reels. That can be very, people watch reels these days. If you can create reels, it can create viewership for your club. The social media I want to talk about is I want to divide it into three parts. The first one is Meetup. Meetup can be very helpful. How and why? First one is Meetup helps you to recruit people from your region. For example, we have this one club called as Women Lead Toastmasters, and we have a very strong Meetup page. What we do is we create flyers and we post it on the Meetup, and I'll show you those. Give me 1 second so that I can show you live how it looks like. Give me 1 second. I have this. Yeah. So this is our Meetup page, and what they do is they use beautiful flyers for their meetings, and that creates, when you create flyers for every meeting, it kind of catches your attention. Oh, what is this different color flyer out there? And I encourage clubs, that's why, to have a theme meeting and release what your theme is on Meetup, because you will, like, this club Meetup account has been around for maybe 3 or 4 months, and they have already created a buzz of attracting 246 people. What happens is when you have a Meetup, you have a constant members or guests coming in. We always have 2 or 3 guests coming in the club. So using Meetup to your advantage is very important if you want to attract local people. Any questions on Meetup before I move forward?
There's a couple of comments about Meetup. Fred is saying that District 84 has a paid account for each division and allows clubs with the division to promote their clubs there. I assume he's talking about Meetup. And then Joy mentions they've had a negative experience with Meetup, but had some unpleasant people show up.
Okay. I can tell something to Fred. Fred, what happens is, I've seen this one district. They have a district Meetup account, but what happens is when they have a district Meetup account, you have like all clubs advertising at the same time. What I encourage is have a Meetup account, but share it with 2 other clubs, because when you have a Meetup account, it costs like $66 for 6 months, but you can share it with 2 other clubs. Like, we have this Meetup account, we share it with 3 other clubs, like Women Lead, I think 831 Storytellers, and there is Variety Toastmasters. So there are only, and we have our own page. So when you are looking at our page, you don't see any other groups. So I would encourage you to have your own group rather than sharing your space with someone else. Claudia, you have a question?
Hi, Abhijeet. Yes, I actually found Toastmasters from Meetup.
Okay.
And yeah, so in Port Townsend, they had, it just was like, wow, okay, I got to go to this. And my question is I was told that Eventbrite's better for when you have an online meeting, and Meetup is better for when you have an in-person meeting. And I'm wondering if Meetup would also be able to be used for online meetings as well.
Yes, one of my club only meets online, and we use Meetup only for online meetings only.
Okay, great, great, thank you.
Yes, and Lindy, do you want to add about Eventbrite? What has your experience been for Eventbrite?
Like anything, it has its pros and cons. However, I find that by using it in tandem with Facebook, you can certainly get a lot of visibility.
Yes,
Great.
very true. Fred, you have a question?
Yes, I put it in the chat, back to what
Yes.
you were saying earlier.
Yes.
Some of the clubs I belong to before the pandemic, we used Meetup, but since
Yes.
the pandemic, I think it's because they're taking advantage of the district using it.
Yes.
The clubs felt that they couldn't justify the cost.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a valid reason.
Yes.
But that's just why a lot of the clubs I belong to chose not to do that, because I know about you can split the cost with other clubs.
Yes.
We may discuss it again in the future, but that was the reasoning behind why we didn't go through it that way. They preferred, well, if the district's paying for it, we'll just let them do it.
Yes, totally understandable. Thank you, Fred. Thank you for sharing that perspective. The second I want to talk about was, I talked about Meetup. Now I want to talk about Facebook. Facebook has been phenomenal in this pandemic era. Why? Because Facebook has 10 groups. What I did was I was able to add myself to 10 different groups. The first main group is the official group of Toastmasters, which has over 27,000 people. So if you have a meeting, I encourage you to publish it on their main page, as well as create an event. You will get members. And there are other 9 or 10 Facebook groups you can be a part of, where you can promote your events. It's very easy. You just have to create a flyer. And I share a registration Zoom link. I don't share a direct Zoom link, but I share a registration Zoom link, because whenever someone registers, we are able to capture their email address. So that is another way we do PR for our clubs. Any other success stories from anyone from Facebook? And I can share all those 10 Facebook groups with you.
Well, I can share that.
Yes.
Just recently, we did a champions coaching champions at my home club in Sequim, and I did use Eventbrite as the place to capture emails and so forth and register there. But then I used your method that I learned from you and shared it to the multiple Facebook groups, and I believe we had 100 and some people register, and of course only part of those come. Still, we had like 58 people, which is amazing for us.
That's a very good number. Yeah. Thank you, Lindy. Thank you. And the third thing which I want to talk about, actually I talked about, is LinkedIn. If you have a strong LinkedIn, use your own LinkedIn. I just put it on my LinkedIn, because if I put it something, I know it's going to have more than 500 views. So if you create a good flyer, maybe a video link or your Zoom link, the flyer will attract people. Make sure whatever you're writing is something catchy, so they can see what is happening. So use your LinkedIn to your advantage. Same thing, sometimes I use my Facebook. I want to use Facebook to promote event, like this weekend, next weekend we have a TLI. So I'm going to use my Facebook. I'll put it on my Facebook, because I have 1,000 friends. So it's at least they are going to see what is happening. So use your social media to your advantage. The next thing I want to talk about is 1-minute pitch. I had my fellow area director. He once told me, we need to teach clubs how to promote their clubs. Sometimes members of the clubs don't know how to promote their clubs. That gave me an idea. Last year, when it was Halloween, we decided to have a different kind of a Halloween celebration. During the Halloween, we had each member of the club give a 1-minute pitch why we should join this club. People were dressed up in costumes, and they gave their pitches why we should join their club. We recorded those pitches and put it on YouTube or our Facebook. So that was an easy way for us to advertise our club. And this year, we're trying to take this to the next level. We're trying to have this event, and we are trying to invite multiple clubs to come in and pitch their club. Anyone can come in and pitch their club. So this is a way we can teach our club members how to pitch your club. In one of the meetings, I encourage you to, instead of having table topics, have pitch your club. Everyone gets 1 minute why we should join the club. And you can record this and put it on your Facebook or your Meetup or whatever channel or your LinkedIn channel to promote your clubs. So we talked about YouTube, social media, 1 minute pitch. Then I want to talk about Google Business. For example, our club also has an in-person location. What we are going to do is we are going to put that in-person location on Google Business so that people can find our professionally speaking club on Google Maps. So this was something I didn't know about. I learned it from Pat Johnson, that we can use Google Business to our advantage to promote our clubs. Farmers Market. One of my clubs, San Jose Toastmasters, what they did was they hosted a booth at a farmers market. They had over 100 flyers. So when they went there, whoever came to the farmers market, they gave them one flyer. And we are surprised that we got a couple of members from that exhibition at the farmers market, and they converted into members. So that is another way of doing a PR for your club. One thing I want to tell you is Canva Pro is the best place to make flyers, and Canva Pro is free for Toastmasters Club. We just have to submit the right paperwork. If you want, I can send you the link, as well as the letter from Toastmasters, which can help you to get a free Canva Pro account. It's very simple and easy to make amazing flyers in Canva Pro. Whatever flyers I showed, all of them are made in Canva Pro. Any questions so far? Let's move on to the next part. Now we are in the digital medium. Follow-up is very, very important. How do we do the follow-up? I want to share what is working with me. I have two different strategies. Mostly today I'm going to stick with community clubs, but if you, I'll also give you a story about corporate clubs. So today's, I'll give you an example. I attended my club meeting. I had 45 minutes. So I said, okay, I'll attend my club meetings. And as I said before, we had 4 or 5 new guests. As soon as our meeting was done, after 2 hours, I connected with a couple of members and asked about how was their experience. I also asked them what brought them to Toastmasters? What did they wanted to learn from it? So what I did was within 24 hours window, I was trying to create that connection with them. I asked them how was their experience and what they want to get out of Toastmasters. Once they start sharing, after I learned that, I tell them that, okay, in our clubs, we have mentoring, which can help them to achieve those objectives. At the same time, I also share my story. How has Toastmasters impacted me? And when I share that story, they also get inspired. So when they get inspired, we create that connection. I will never ask them to join my club until I create that connection. So I encourage you to create that connection. Now, it becomes easy in the corporate club, but what do you do in a community club? For example, if you are in a community club, one thing I want to encourage you to is collect their email addresses. So once you have their email addresses, you know how to correspond with them. Within 24 hours, thank them for joining your meeting and ask them if you have 15 minutes so that we can sync or connect. And use the same process, like understand what their needs are, why they wanted to join your club. And once you understand their needs, also share your story. what happened to you when you joined Toastmasters, because that is very important. And I always encourage, like I'll also talk about in one of the slides, is have a good mentoring program, because when you have a mentoring program, it creates that connection in the club. After you share your story, create that connection. It's all about creating that connection. Once you create that connection, then they want to be a part of your group. And you can ask them, would you like to be a member of our club? Follow up is the most important thing. If we don't follow up, it's very hard to convert the guests into members. Any questions regarding follow up?
Yes, I
Yeah,
have questions.
sure.
Let's talk about an event that is designed as a special event like this one, that is
Yes.
not just a meeting. So let's say you have then many guests instead of just a few. How do you recommend doing that so that it becomes doable? So do you have a way of multiplying the VPM so that?
Yes. So when you're having a special event, try to plan it ahead of time. Okay. Like what we did was, okay, in my clubs, one day we had many guests. So we did a screenshot of all the members. And then we had 3 people we divided amongst ourselves. Okay, I'm going to contact these people, you are going to contact these people, and you're going to contact these people. Make sure it doesn't, all the burden doesn't lies on the VPM. Help them out. Share that burden, because it's all about creating that connection. And sometimes it becomes too much for the one person. So share it with your members, plan it ahead of time so that you can connect with all the guests. Any other questions? Let's move on to the next one. Now I want to talk more about retention of members. How do we do retention of members? As I said, the first thing is it's very important to have a good mentorship program. Like in our club last week, we had this our officers meeting, and we decided, oh, we need to have good, strong mentorship about how to do our 4 different kinds of evaluations, because we have a lot of new members coming up, and sometimes they don't know how to do that evaluation. So we are identifying, okay, we have identified 3 people, and I'm going to just say the names: Karen, Elena, and yeah. So we want to take help of these people who are very seasoned evaluators who can help mentor our new members. So mentorship is very important. Let's go through one by one. What happens? First thing is, whenever a new member joins, as I said before, try to understand their needs, because their needs might be different. Like one time, one lady, Nikhila, she came to me and said, can you help me with the humor speech? And I checked with myself, I'm not a good person who can help her with the humor speech. But I knew there was this another lady in my club, Evelyn. She can be very helpful because she has a good knack of writing humor speech. So I connected with her. So understand their needs is very important. Like in our last meeting, we're trying to understand what are the needs of our new members. Their needs are trying to do precise evaluation. We have 4 different kinds of evaluations. So we want to make sure members know how to do those. So after understanding their needs, try to find the right person who can help them out. What happens when you find the right person? It helps the mentee grow. It also helps the mentor grow, because that growth is very important. And if you have a mentee, that growth is accelerated. When I started my Toastmasters journey, I had a mentor from my first day. And after every 6 or 1 year, I had different mentors. So those mentors really helped me to grow. And at the same time, it gave me a chance to mentor many more people. So create that chain, have a good mentor as well as mentor someone. When you create that chain, the transfer of knowledge is such that everyone grows. Create that chain. When we have a mentorship program, it creates that support. There is always someone to talk to. Like I was in a leadership role and was going through a tough time, and my mentor was there because he was guiding me what to do in certain situations. He was helping me to become a better communicator. So it creates that support in the club. And finally, it's all about building relationships. If you have a club and you don't have relationships, it's going to be very hard for the club to survive for many, many years. So I encourage the clubs to create those strong relationships. Once you have those strong relationships, it creates that camaraderie, that connection that propels your clubs to last many, many years. Any questions regarding mentorship? And now Pathway also has a program on mentorship. You can take advantage of that too. Any questions regarding mentorship? The next thing I want to talk about is quality meeting. Why quality meeting? When you are having a quality meeting, like today at 5 o'clock, I was just having 4 people and we were talking about, okay, how can we create quality in the district? There was this DCP consultant, Wendy, in my meeting, and she said, when we have that quality meeting, especially the quality speeches and quality evaluations, the members get excited. And when the members get excited, the guests get excited. So a lot of people get excited. So having a good quality is very, very important. And how can we have good quality? First of all, have good quality prepared speeches. In one of my clubs, what happens is we have mentorship program, and the mentors help members to prepare their speech. The mentee writes the speech, he sends to the mentor for review. The mentor reviews the speech, gives them feedback, and also encourages them to send a recording. So when they review the recording and give feedback to the mentee, they are already prepared for the prime time. So when they come on the stage, the speech quality is very high. So having good prepared speeches really helps the mentee, really helps the club. Evaluations. Evaluations are the cornerstone of our Toastmasters Club. We need to have strong evaluations in our club. If your club needs help, get someone. Like in our district, we have Kyle Hall, who is an amazing evaluator. He comes in, he came in our club last year and helped us out how to do good evaluations. So invite someone in the club so that they can help you to understand how to do quality evaluations. With evaluations, you can really help people. I'll give you an example. I was at this club, Cathedral of Faith. I was an area director, and that was my adopted club. In that club, there was this member who came in to give a 20-minute speech. After his speech, I asked him, do you want me to give you a fluffy evaluation, or do you want me to give you a direct evaluation? He said, give me a direct evaluation. I gave him a direct evaluation. And that was our first meeting. And from that time onwards, we became good friends. And now he belongs to all the clubs I belong to mostly. So we created strong friendship just because of giving quality evaluations. Like for another example, there was this lady, Sneha, who came in our club to give a speech. And we gave her good quality evaluations. And today we are good friends. So evaluations, you can really help people and help them grow. It's good to have the safe and supportive environment. Our goal is to nurture everyone to grow. Doesn't matter where they are at. Everyone is at their own level. So we want to create that safe and supportive environment, which is helpful for everyone to grow. One thing I've made a mistake in the past, like when I was the VP, like I was not giving recognition to members who were completing their pathway levels. I encourage you to not do that mistake. If someone has completed their levels, acknowledge it at the start of the meeting or end of the meeting. So people get inspired. Like if someone like Lindy completes her level, I get excited that, oh, she inspires me to make sure that I also complete my levels. So have a good recognition in your meetings. Workshops. If you have good quality workshops, that can help your club. Understand what your club needs. Do a survey and see what they need. And then depending upon, you can invite any speaker around the world. When you are online, there are many, many amazing people who would like to speak. So if you can connect with the right person, bring in the right content, that is very helpful. So always try to pair up the content with the needs of the club. Any questions regarding quality meetings? And the last thing, it's all about fun. We need to have fun. How can you have fun in your meetings? Anyone?
There are lots of ways. One is to have themed meetings. I see you've got the pirate meeting going on
Yes.
there.
Fred? Very true, very true. Team meetings are fun. Fred?
Yeah, some clubs like to do, when they do the grammarian hot counter, they like to fine people for every infraction that they make or not using the word of the day. Whether they pay or not, it doesn't matter. Although we tell them it goes towards club dues. And I charted a brand new club that they were all over it, like right on, and actually made a game of it, because then they made them on their toes that I can't say so many odds, ums, or crutch words. I don't want to have to pay.
Good idea, Fred. I'm going to steal that idea. Thank you, Fred, for sharing. Any other?
Hannah-Laura has a good point. Hannah-Laura, can you speak up and share that?
Yes, I think that in-person meetings, like for a party or a picnic, even if you're not conducting that much business, would be fun, just so people can see each other in more of a social setting.
Very, very true. Having in-person meeting is fun because you get a chance to really connect with members. And I'll talk more about that. Claudia?
Let's see. Hi. So, yeah, when we had a special event, I think the one thing we did, we were so prepared that when everybody got there, everybody was in a great jovial mood. And so bringing your mood to the meeting and making sure it's positive and uplifting. And our poor one guest we had, we ended up giving him almost a full-length interview because we were practicing interview questions, and he was our one guest. And he was so excited about the attention we gave him that he said, I'm going to join this group.
Thank you, Claudia. That's a great story. Any other ways to make it fun? I'm going to share some ways with you. PowerPoint karaoke. Emmy, do you remember the PowerPoint karaoke we had at our club? What happened in that meeting?
No, I don't remember. That doesn't
Judy,
mean I didn't enjoy it and stuff.
Yes. Judy, do you remember?
I don't remember it either. Was it at Pro Speaking?
Yes, yes. So what happens is, what is PowerPoint karaoke? PowerPoint karaoke, we have a slide deck of 250 slides. And those are all random slides. We have no idea what's there in the slide. What happens is we give a timer, like suppose we have 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes for each person. The first slide shows up. We encourage the person to at least say 3 sentences on each slide and continue the themes for the next 5 or 6 slides they're going to use. It is hilarious. Yeah, it is hilarious because we have no clue what's coming and they have to maintain that theme. It's a fun exercise for our mind. So that is something, if you need the PowerPoint karaoke slide deck, I do have it. I can share it with you.
I think it'd be great if he had to sing. After all,
Yeah.
karaoke is singing.
Yes.
So you put the slide up and you have to sing something.
Very true.
You have
Second thing is,
another contribution from Karina, who says, we
yes.
provide Laffy Taffy candy. They have jokes in the wrappers. Everyone gets to be the humorist that day.
That's a good one too. It's fun. Another one, as I talked about, is lightning slides. It's just a slide deck of 10 to 12 slides. Everyone gets 30 seconds to talk about what the picture is about. Improv games. You can have improv games in your meetings. Like you can replace your table topics and have improv games. There are many different kinds of improv games. The simplest one is a scene building. You have two people and they're just going back and forth and you're playing the yes and game. What is yes and game? If first person in the scene starts a scene, the other person helps them out, agreeing to what they are saying, and plus they add more to what they're saying. So they go back and forth. So that is the simplest improv game. There is another improv game which we practiced for, which was the alphabet game, which I started a sentence with A. Then Lindy had to start a sentence with B. Then again, I had to start a sentence with C. Then Lindy had to start a sentence with D. It's fun. I think that I know A, B, C, D, but when it comes to that game, I really have to remember what is that next letter that I'm going to start the sentence out with. So you can have any kinds of improv games. There is also String of Pearls, also another improv game. It's a storytelling improv game. So different kinds of improv games can be fun.
Deanna has a suggestion, which is about using video.
Yes, definitely. You can use like a small videos and people can talk about it. Do you know reverse meetings? Anyone? Anna Laura, do you know what reverse meetings are?
Oh,
Emmy?
I've never heard
Yeah.
of them.
Oh, you have never heard.
Reverse meetings are a ton of fun. You start off at the end of the meeting and go backwards. And so, for instance, the general evaluator basically gets to run the meeting because that person, he tells everything that everybody did. And of course, then they have to do it when it comes their turn. So your evaluator goes before your speech and your table topic goes before your question. It's very fun.
So it's a fun way to have a meeting. It creates a lot of laughter. It's all about laughter and that energy it creates in the meeting. Themed meetings. I have heard about this club in Brazil. Like my friend Carlos, he went to that club in Brazil. What they did was everyone in the meeting had to bring one cap. Okay. They had to bring their cap. And in the meetings, they had to share the story about that cap. And it was a fun themed meeting. It created a lot of laughter. You can have any kind of themes you want. Like in this meeting, you see the people had Halloween theme in their meeting. So any themes are fun. And finally, since we are in sometimes online mode or sometimes hybrid mode, it's good to have that annual social gathering, a place where you can meet with each other. Because when you meet, you create those strong bonds. So it's all about creating that connection. So having those annual gatherings helps to create those strong bonds. So this is all about fun. I will just do a recap and then I'm going to take all your questions. Innovative content. The main goal of the innovative content is to create value for our members. Innovative PR, because it's going to be all digital these days. So you have hybrid, but still most of your audience is digitally. So you have to come up with innovative ways to connect with your members or your potential guests. Follow up to create that strong connection. It's all about the connection. Mentorship to help everyone grow and support. It is very important for the club to last many, many years. Quality meetings. Same thing, quality meetings, when you have quality meetings, it creates that energy, which is very contagious and everyone wants to be a part of it. Finally, it's all about having fun. We need to have fun. If it's not fun, it ain't Toastmasters. Questions?
Abhijeet, before we come into questions, we had planned to start our meeting with our new member induction. And because that is going to be fun, would you be willing to us? Is it all right if we insert that and then people can hold on to their questions and then add
Sounds
them
good.
in? Judy, would you go ahead and introduce Hazel, please?
Sure. So we have new members in our club, which is exciting. Some of you guests may be in the same boat soon. So I am introducing Hazel, our VP of membership, who will announce and induct our new members.
Hello. I'm so glad you're all showed up tonight. What a fun thing. And Abhijeet, oops, can you see me?
We can see you.
Yes, we can.
See,
My phone went to restart because it's pushing on a funny button. I thought I might lose you completely. Abhijeet has set us up with some really great reasons to join a club, and we're going to pull some of that into our induction here as we welcome 3 new members. Tramal Berger, Raju, I missed part of your name there, but I know, and Hannah Dean. So if you guys could be spotlighted, that would be amazing.
Raghu and Tramal, I need you to turn on your videos so I can spotlight you, please.
I'm driving at the moment. Give me a second to pull over.
Raghunatha, are you able to turn on your video? Hazel, perhaps you can go ahead and I will just add them as soon as I'm
Sure,
able.
not to worry. I just will help everybody recognize them when they see them next time. So as experienced Toastmasters, professional speaking, you are being asked to help these new members get off to a good start. Do you accept this responsibility and pledge to share your knowledge and experience with our new members so they can immediately begin to benefit from their membership in professionally speaking?
Yes, we do.
Say aye or raise your hand.
Yes.
Or something.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank
Yes.
you. Right. So to our new members, Raghu, Hannah, and Tramal, membership in professionally speaking and in Toastmasters International is a privilege that carries with it many rewards, but it also places certain obligations upon you. We are a group of people brought together to do things that we could not accomplish alone. Our collective obligation is to grow and to improve ourselves and to share our knowledge and experience with fellow members in a spirit of fun. This means working diligently towards your own self-development, evaluating others' speeches in a spirit of support and sharing, assisting the club to reach its goals, remaining positive and keeping a smile on your face. So we ask you, our new members, to dedicate yourselves to personal growth, to share this great gift with your fellow members, and to keep this Toastmasters Club strong and dynamic. Do you commit to keep this firm obligation, to attend meetings regularly, to prepare fully for each assignment, to apply yourself to the projects outlined in the Toastmasters education program, to participate in club activities, to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner, to build open, friendly relationships with your fellow Toastmasters, and to bring new members into the club so they can also gain the benefit of professionally speaking and Toastmasters International. If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Awesome.
I do.
I do.
Awesome. All right. And the members of Professionally Speaking. Do you pledge to support these new members in their quest for self-development, to provide them with positive, helpful evaluations, to maintain a friendly, supportive atmosphere, to give them opportunities to help one another, and to make the Toastmasters membership experience a rewarding and fulfilling one? Please say, I do.
I do.
Awesome. So how are we doing on time? Do we have time to get to know our new members just a little bit?
I don't really think so, because we have to do, but we can get with them. Let's see how we do at the end of the meeting.
No worries. I just want to give you each a hearty welcome. I've had a chance to get to know each of you just a little bit, and I just appreciate you joining our club, and we look forward to learning from you. I know there's a ton that you guys have an experience that I look forward to learning from. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Hazel, and congratulations to our 3 new members. I hope everyone's been thinking about questions to ask Abhijeet, because I am bringing him back.
Any questions, anyone?
Hello, Abhijeet. I am Adarsh from India.
Yes.
My question is regarding the fun time you suggested. What I have witnessed is in few clubs they're having that concept. Okay, this we need to follow that strict timing, and it has to be all that serious kind of things. Fun activities should not be allowed, and they often don't encourage that. Have you felt such experiences in clubs?
You know, it's sometimes all about the club culture, what the club culture is. The one thing I know is, like, if it ain't fun, it ain't Toastmasters. So we have to change the culture. Maybe the new officers who come in, they can help to change the culture. But it needs to be fun. It cannot be very strict, because then it's not very much fun, I feel.
Okay, thank you.
Claudia, you had a question?
Yeah, I you know, we have a club that, you know, it's growing slowly, and this meeting has given us so many more ideas. You know, I was wondering if, just to get ourselves straight for this next, you know, we have new officers, would you recommend having like a longer business meeting to just get ourselves organized and plan out like several meetings? Because what happens is we get to that day before the meeting and that agenda is empty, and then it's no fun because we're panicked, right?
Yes.
So how would you go about getting a new fleet of officers to have a successful experience? That's what I want. I want them to have a successful experience.
The first thing, that's a very good question, actually. The first thing is, make sure all officers are trained. All 7 officers are trained, so they know what they need to do in the club.
Okay.
And the second thing is, when you have an officers meeting, plan your meetings out. Like one of my club, they plan their themes out for 3 months. They know what their theme is going to be. And what I encourage the VPs to do is, like, suppose today our meeting got over this Friday. The next Saturday, I encourage the VPs to send out the agenda, which has the speakers which are confirmed, the Toastmaster, and ask the Toastmaster to confirm all the roles. We encourage people to sign up for the roles. If they don't sign up, the VP puts in all the members to do the roles. The VP populates all the roles and encourage the Toastmasters to confirm all the roles.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Yes. Another thing I want to add is, make sure members in the club know how to use pathways. That is very important, because we need to know what is pathways and how to best possibly use it to our advantage.
Good. Good. Okay. That's going to make me learn how to use it.
Yes. Any other questions?
Abhijeet,
Yes.
yes, there's a couple things in chat. Deanna is commenting that she's been growing, her speeches have been growing stronger through her Toastmasters clubs. And Simone asks, have you used Speechcraft to recruit new members?
Speechcraft. Let me call upon Raghunatha Raju. He is an expert in Speechcraft, and he is going to talk about the Speechcraft he just did in 2 months ago. So, Raghu, you have 1 minute to talk about your Speechcraft and getting members through Speechcraft. Raghu? I'll give you an idea. So what happened is 2 months ago, Raghu did a Speechcraft, and he had 4 of us. He invited 4 of us to do different kinds of sessions. Like I went there and did an evaluation sections. One of my friends, Solarzar, he talked about how to do speech crafting. And there was another person, Declan, who talked about how to do a vocal variety. He planned the session in such a way that he recruited many coordinators. Overall, they had like 25 people in that Speechcraft. That is a good way to recruit members. You have to plan it accordingly, have a good support system around you, and really have good speakers who can give really good sessions, which will help members, the new members or the speech crafters, to understand how to apply it immediately. It has to be simple and easy so that they can apply it immediately. In 4 to 6 weeks, you want to make sure they improve and they feel the value of it. Then only you will be able to convert them into members. That is a good way. And I think the online Speechcraft is a good idea to do, or the pathway Speechcraft. Any other questions?
Sumita has her hand raised. Can you go ahead, Sumita?
Yeah. So I'm from Rainbow Toastmasters Club, which is world's first LGBTQ club. And it was running very smoothly. But the thing is, like, after reopening of all the offices and the workplaces, the member, they are also not coming up. So we are facing problem with the existing member and plus new member. So we have got a lot of idea from all your words and presentation, but I would like to ask you, what should we do? Like, if there are 5 members, we have fun meeting, but still members, if it is more in number, it is good for us, but how to do it?
So the first thing is a very good question, and take advantage of Facebook. Why I'm saying that? Every city will have LGBT groups. So become a member of those groups and put your information in about your club, about your themed meetings in that group. That will help you attract many more new members. Because sometimes when the new members come in, you can create more energy in the club, help them grow, and then your club will take off. So the way to grow your club back is recruiting new members and take advantage of Facebook, especially those groups in Facebook, because every city will have LGBT groups. Take advantage of those.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure.
Abhijeet, I can't remember how much you talked about it, but I have found very handy the information that you shared, that you can get a pro Canva account free as a nonprofit. Can you talk about that?
Yes. What I can do is when I send out the handout, I can send you the link where we can apply for the Pro Canva account. And I'll send you a letter, which is a letter from Toastmasters, which says that we are for nonprofit. And just upload that letter. Within 1 week, you will get a Canva Pro account.
And that's where you make those pretty posters, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Thank you.
And it's always remember another thing: whenever you are making a poster, don't make a long poster. Always make a landscape size poster. And the exact size I'll tell you is 512 by 1024. 512 by 1024. That size is such that It comes as a landscape, and it's very easy to use that and upload it on Facebook, LinkedIn, or any social media. Any other questions?
I have one.
Yes.
About those lightning slides, is that going to be part of the stuff that you're going to send out?
Yes, I'll send out the lightning slides. I have a template of the lightning slides. You can use that. There's an inbuilt timer in it. Just change your images and you can use that.
Looking forward to using that.
Sure. Any other questions?
Now, I know each and every one of you is in a club where you've had some challenges and you've felt so frustrated and thought, how can we solve this problem? This is a good time to bring that up.
Oh, well, in our club, not this club, in my home club, Squim Club, we are having a terrible time attracting local people. So we've gone international. And we almost have more international members than we have local members. But it's exciting and everyone is really on board with it. But I don't know what we need to do to get more. I'd like to see more local members, but it's, given COVID, it's been really difficult.
One thing, that's a good question, Amy. One thing I would say is now the libraries are opening up, So if the libraries are opening up, create a poster, like a beautiful poster in Canva, and put it in the library, because then people will see, oh yeah, they meet online and they also have, if you are also meeting in person, you can put both locations, and that becomes really attractive for people. So take advantage of libraries, because libraries are opening up. I see people going to the libraries. That's the way we can market your club.
Thank you.
Thank you. Going once, going twice, going thrice. I'll give it back to Judy. Judy, it's all you.
Thank you, Abhijeet, and thank you again for a great eye-opening list of ideas for growing membership. Thank you. I would like, we have a lot of guests, which is wonderful, and we want to get feedback. Before we do that, I'd like a timing report from Karen McNamara.
For speaking, where do I need to speak? Well, you should speak to the owl. Oh. I guess I'm learning where I have to speak. Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
All right. So I'm speaking to the owl.
Yes.
So Abhijeet asked for lights at 30, 45, and 55 minutes. And I gave him that, and he came in right on time and had questions at the very end. So he did great. Thank you.
Hey, woohoo! Good to hear. Thank you, Karen. We do have a number of guests tonight. I would love to hear your thoughts about the meeting, what you got out of it, and if you want more information about us and maybe visiting us again, make sure that Lindy has your email and you can put that in chat.
It's actually not me in this club, it's Hazel.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
It's Hazel in this club. So you can chat with Hazel Booth. Please put in your email and a phone if you like, and Hazel can follow up with you. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, any guests would you like to give feedback about your evening here today, or morning, or whatever time of day?
Deanna wants to share her video. Deanna, we're going to have you do that in the last few minutes, okay? Well, I will give you a chance to do that, I promise.
Okay, anyone wave your hand? I have you all in gallery view now so I can see you.
In the room.
Oh, okay, in the room.
Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
Hello, I'm Mary West in the Bremerton group. I just want to say this was fantastic. I have a whole bunch of notes here and lots of great ideas that I plan to take back to our group. So thank you so much. This was great.
I'm so glad you could join us and come again.
Thank you.
Claudia.
Oh, there we go. Hi, so I'm off mute. Thank you so much. I have to say, it's like I was so excited when I went to the officers training and heard this incredibly inspirational talk that I decided I needed to hear it again. And we ended up canceling the meeting yesterday so that more of the club members could come tonight. And so I think we'll use everything that we have heard tonight, and we'll start to create our plan for the next few months. And I just really appreciate that you put this all together, because it's a ton of information, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Claudia. And it was great to see you. Hope you come again. Fred.
Thank you. Got a lot of tidbits to share with my clubs. And I know Abhijeet said he was going to share the info for the free camel account, which I've known about, but I misplaced the original that I think Sapana Johnson from District 7 posted. So if I could get that information and possibly a recording of this meeting, that would be greatly appreciated. And I put my email in the chat.
Okay, great. Thank you, Fred, and thanks for participating. Come back again.
My pleasure.
Gurubandi. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, this is a great meeting. My name is Gurubandi Khalsa, and I'm from Palmer, Alaska Toastmasters, but I'm currently in Florida. So yeah, this information is great. I want to bring it back to our club and hopefully get some more members. So this is what we need. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome, and thanks for joining in from Florida. I know it's getting late for you, so I appreciate that. Come again. Okay, other guests. Well, I'm going to pick on the obvious ones who show their pictures. So, Helen, any comments?
Thanks for the wonderful presentation that went into a lot of detail on some of the new strategies to reach members using various social media platforms. And I also enjoyed hearing about different activities that we could add to our meetings to make it fun, because as Abhijeet kept repeating, if it ain't fun, it ain't Toastmasters. Right?
Yes, you've learned well.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
so yeah, ain't, yeah.
Linda, you now owe $1. Karina, would you like to share any thoughts about how this meeting was? And you're muted too.
I've seen Abhijeet speak a few times, and that's what actually drew me over here. And the icing on the cake was to actually see Lindy again. I'm like, oh my God, I know you. So that was, yeah, kudos to you guys for having two great speakers in here today. I'm very happy. And I got a lot out of it. I'm the VPE this year, but I've been the president a couple of times in my club, and we're a corporate club, and we do have 20 members, and we're pretty active, and we just became an open club so that we can get more people. So that's it's always good to be able to come in and get fresh perspective and idea from other people. Great job, Abhijeet. Really love to see you speak. Thank you.
Thanks, Karina, for coming, and we hope to see you again. Darsh, would you like to share anything?
Yeah, for me, this has been an amazing session. For me, I started at 7 o'clock here in the morning. I believe it's night there.
Yes.
Yes. And Abhijeet has shared great information. I'll share one secret also. He mentioned about Facebook. So I am a member of 2 Toastmasters Club. Along with that, I have exploited Facebook by searching Toastmasters and that particular date. So if it's 20th July, I would search Toastmasters 20th July and I would find an event. And I'm really restless. And the next day, not the next day, the previous day itself, I would search Toastmasters 21st July, I'll find another event. Then I'll search 21st, the Toastmasters 22nd July, I'll keep on attending events. So my point here is, along with the local Toastmasters Club, I was also able to advance myself by attending lot of international Toastmasters event. And I'm really fortunate to be here also, likewise. And it was great listening to all of you, especially Abhijeet. Yes, shared a lot of great information, and I look forward to attend here more. Thank you all.
Thank you, Adarsh. Glad you are here. Deanna, we're going to get to your video in a second. Very quickly, I'm going to call on Karen King and then Stephen Cull. So Karen, what do you think?
Well, I came in on this late because I had to bring a friend home from the hospital, but I'm just fascinated by the whole presentation, all the different tools of doing this program. I mean, what we heard was fantastic, but just watching this meeting happen was incredible. The detail and the ability to include everyone, and it, has been a very exciting technical Zoom meeting also, as well as having good information.
Thank you, Karen, and glad you came. Please come back and visit. And I really hope your friend is okay.
He is.
Stephen?
Yeah, hello everybody. So this is Steven, and I'm from China. So it's morning here. I'm a new member actually for Toastmaster, only for 4 months. But I became the VPM of our club, so I was very lucky. So
wow.
They voted for me, yeah. So I think this is very useful session from Abhijeet. Is very helpful for me to maybe attract more members to our club. I think I'm going to use the techniques from his presentation to attract more members to join our club. And I think this meeting is very informational, very interesting. But I missed the first part. I only joined like 20 minutes later. So I hope I can maybe get a presentation and read more contents. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for joining us. And come again. Morning, that's a good time to come to a meeting. Who works? No.
Well, as they said, as the grandmother on Downton Abbey said, what's a weekend? Was going to do his work on the weekend.
Do his work on the weekend. And I, thanks, great. Lindy, can we play Deanna's video now? Or can Deanna play her video?
Deanna, you are now a co-host. You can share your screen. Deanna, we're not hearing any sound, but it certainly looks cheerful. My goodness, what a wonderful wheelchair dance to the music. How exciting.
You look like you're having so much fun.
I know Deanna's been a Toastmaster for 27 years.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you, Deanna. Thanks for sharing that. Any other guests want to say anything? I saw one and I think she disappeared. I'm like scanning all of you. Deanna, that was great. Do you want to type something into the chat? Okay, please do.
Let me add briefly that I have just put in the chat a couple of times a link to sign up for our newsletter. It comes once a month and it will keep you apprised of any special events like this one. So please feel free to sign up for that. It won't fill your inbox with stuff. Just once a month you can hear from us.
And at this point, I want to again thank our guests. It was wonderful having you here and having you contribute. And I am turning, oh, let me just read what Deanna said. She likes this meeting. Okay. And now I'm turning control of the meeting back to our club president, Abhijeet.
Thank you, Judy. Thank you for being a fabulous Toastmaster. It's amazing when you are a Toastmaster because the energy is so lively. So thank you. Our next meeting is on August 4th at 6:30 Pacific time. At 6:30 Pacific time, we will share the link in the chat. See you all on August 4th, 6:30 Pacific time. Thank you so much. Have a good night and a good morning.
Yes, fantastic seeing everyone. And